Well, let's bring in now the Gauteng Department of Education's Steve Mabona to unpack how the department came to this decision. Steve, a very good afternoon to you and thank you so much for your time. So there has been mixed reaction to the suspension of vendors from selling at schools, with some saying this does not address the source of the food poisoning, while others have welcomed this move. As a department, just take us through the steps you will make and you will take to ensure tighter compliance then and regulation in this matter.
Good day and to our viewers. We have interacted with our school principals who will work with the SGBs. As you know, that governance belong to SGBs. So the principals will then have to communicate further through their circular and explaining on how they're going to be managing this process. But for us to say, let's stop with the process of selling, food in our schools and in the precinct. So meaning our tax shop will stop to, function. It's a temporary measure, which we will then have to come at a later stage after all assessments and indicate on how we're going to be moving forward. So it's more of a temporary measure. And we understand the parents that are not happy with the decision. We know that there are schools that have already interacted with their parents to say their tax shops are safe, they will follow the compliance and everything. But we are saying a temporary measure is not permanent. So we can't, when we communicate as a department and SGBs communicate contrary to what we are doing. We need to work together and make sure that we respect on how we are functioning. Though governance belongs to SGB, but when we see that there are problems, trying to avert more challenges that we have identified already, these incidents that are many now. So we are trying to be taking a precaution, because we will be blamed if we don't do anything. In some quarters, people were saying, why are you not doing anything? The same question would have been asked to us, what are you doing as a department? Now we took action. Some parents are not happy, but we understand that you will not make everyone happy.
And I would imagine it probably stems from the fact that, some of these vendors do get their supply from somewhere else. Perhaps even, that could be a source of investigation for those that are investigating it. But in the main, we are talking here just in Gauteng alone with more than 200 cases and 10 children who have sadly passed away because of these incidences. There are now calls for this to be declared some form of emergency. What do you say to that as you continue to work also, I would imagine, with other departments, including the Department of Health? And how would that look like?
No, remember, we've called for that as Gauteng, through the Ministry of Finance. And EXCO had an emergency meeting on Tuesday where it was agreed that all stakeholders need to do what is expected of them. All departments need to check on what is it that they need to do as far as their responsibility is concerned on the food management. Look at the spaza shops. Are they operating legally? Are they compliant enough? The municipality must be on board as well. If you need to close some of this spaza shop, you need to do that. So all those should be a multi-pronged approach, which Gauteng government has agreed that that's the way we should go. So as a Department of Education, we started the process to say, let's alleviate the pressure from other authorities and say, stop selling in our schools and in the precinct, and so that we can then manage this process together.
And I think you've also touched on it, Steve, a little bit earlier on, but of course we don't know, where else the children especially get their food from. Some, we know, plenty of cases have gotten it from, spaza shops within their own community. So there is that concern then with the Department of Education instructing parents to then pack lunches for them to take to school, that children share, So how are you going to ensure that the awareness then is driven, that even parents from where they are stationed should ensure that children do not consume food from certain spaza shops?
That's why we, in our memo, when we're interacting with our schools, we gave them guidance on what is it that they need to do, what is it that they need to look out, or what is it that they need to say to parents, because parents are their custodian, so they need to be in a position to interact with them directly. That's why we interacted with our schools directly through the memorandum, which is quite clear. So they need to, have circulars or communicate to parents to say, this is how we're going to be managing this process. So we are encouraging parents to pack food and give to children, avoid giving them money. But most of the parents, indeed, they give them money. Some parents will just give them money to buy not food per se, but
Snacks.
sweets and all those things, or snacks.
Yeah.
So we are encouraging them not to give them money. Hence, because we have then closed the tuck shops and we are not selling in and around our places.
All right, Steve, let's leave it there for now. Thank you so much for your time and that update. Steve Mabona is Gauteng's Education spokesperson for us.